Today, I really talk about relationships, specifically how to have a successful one. Hi Soulmates, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Jules, and every week I make videos to help people step in their full creator power. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you are ready to claim all of your divine power now. And also because I would really just love to have you. Today, I really talk about relationships, specifically how to have a successful one. Relationships are so very important to us in our journey here on this planet, and they play an essential role in the expansion of our consciousness. And I mean all relationships. Your relationships with your family, with your friends, with your lovers, even work relationships, okay? All relationships are here to help you grow. And I believe that one of the biggest reasons why we fail in relationships is because we don't really know the true purpose that they're here to serve, okay? We think for the most part that, relationships, or the people who we develop relationships with, they kind of owe us in a way, right? Yes, they are here to serve us in a way, but not in the way that we've been conditioned to believe. We create these roles with guidelines and boxes, and when the people that are playing these roles somehow step out of line or go out of the box, we then feel they no longer are deserving of this role in our life. For example, in a family dynamic, right, the roles of siblings and parents are very strictly defined, right? A brother and a sister and a mother and a father are meant to behave in a very specific manner. They are meant to meet very specific needs for you. They have to be there for you in a certain way. And if they're not playing their role the way that they're supposed to, then they're not considered to be good siblings or good parents. Even children. Children have a role to play in the family dynamic as well. They especially have to behave accordingly with a role set forth either by their parents, which is oftentimes dictated by the roles of society, right? The rules of society. And if they don't behave accordingly, then they're often seen as bad kids, bad children. With this kind of limited perception of relationships, it's impossible to really have the full expression of ourselves. Our entire perception of what a relationship should be has to change in order for us to have successful relationships. Because then by default, the way in which we define a successful relationship is distorted. If you ask most people what it takes to have a successful relationship, they're likely going to give you the same run-of-the-mill answer that is widely expressed by many relationship therapists and books and experts or gurus or whatever, right? And that will be open communication, compromise, trust, commitment, love, respect, the usual generic answers that people don't really honestly believe in. Because think about it, if they really did believe in it, wouldn't there be more successful relationships than not? And if those ideals actually worked in all relationship dynamics, wouldn't more people be happily together than not, right? Those concepts, while they're great ways to enhance a relationship, they're not the keys to having a successful relationship with others. So what constitutes a successful relationship anyway? What does a successful relationship actually look like? Most people would probably answer that by saying one that lasts long. They define a successful relationship with longevity. But the thing is, just because a relationship lasts a long time doesn't mean it's successful. We must begin to reframe the way in which we define a successful relationship before we can even begin to discuss what it takes to have one. As I mentioned before, the more conscious you become, the more aware you will be of the actual purpose that relationships in your life are here to serve. You stop looking at people as actors in the story that you are writing, that you are creating, and you realize that they're not here to live up to your expectations of the roles that they're playing in your life. And instead, you begin to see them as contributors to your story. They're here to help shape your story. They are here to help you expand your story. I posted this on my IG the other day about soulmates, and I touched on it a bit in my twin flame video as well, because it's ingrained in us pretty much since birth that the idea of a soulmate is this one true love that you find and you're to be with for all of your years here, right? But the more your awareness expands, the more you understand that we don't have one soulmate. Not everyone has one soulmate, at least. Someone can have 20 soulmates. Yeah, a soulmate is someone you entered into a contract with on a soul level before incarnating here to help each other expand. You may have different soulmates for each soul expansion that you experience in your lifetime. It's true that one soulmate can take you through more than one soul expansion. However, it's not common, and in fact, it's even more common for one soul to have multiple contracts with different mates for one lifetime. So rather than defining a successful relationship as one that lasts a long time, it's time to take off those blinders and see the mark of a true relationship is one that contributes to the expansion of your awareness. A successful relationship is one that makes you grow, one that makes you see the world in different ways somehow, whether it's through deliberate love and goodness or even heartbreak. As a conscious being, that is how you should be defining your relationships. Focus on how they're helping you become more of the person you are meant to be, more of who you are. You are then able to always give gratitude to relationships, no matter how they begin, no matter how they end. So how do you begin to even have a successful relationship? Well, I came up with 3 things that I believe are the most important components of a successful relationship. The first one is self-love. All love of any kind starts with a love of self. Has to. If you're desiring to have a loving relationship with others, you must begin with a loving relationship with yourself. When you develop relationships with a full knowing of who you are, full acceptance of your authentic self, and wholly loving every part of you, you're less likely to attract the wrong partner or toxic friendships or any kind of relationships that aren't in alignment of your highest good. And you're more likely to attract partners, friends, and work relationships that continue to allow you to expand and grow in your awareness and ascend to a higher version of yourself. It's so important for us to know and love who we are when we enter committed relationships. So we're going in with our full authentic selves, and we can avoid making compromises on who we are and attracting partners that we are not compatible with. I have an entire video on self-love, which I will link above and below, and I urge you to give it a watch so you can dive in deeper on the importance of self-love in relationships. The second component that I'm sure many may be triggered by is no compromising. I know. Jules, how can you say that? You know, compromise is one of the keys to a successful relationship, isn't it? This is one of the biggest misconceptions about relationships. And the thing is, compromise, actually, you know what? I take that back. You know what? Compromise is a major key to a successful relationship. You know what? It is. If you desire to have an unconsciously successful relationship that fits the ideal that's set forth by society. But the thing is, many people who compromise in relationships are suffering inside. They're dying inside. So tell me if that is successful. I'll wait. Compromising by nature stifles the very expansion you came here to have. A lot of the times, the things we're made to compromise on just so our relationship will last and society will see it as successful are things that our soul is crying for. They're desires that our soul is craving. That would actually lead us to our path, to our purpose. This often leads to many people feeling unfulfilled in their relationships. Compromising usually doesn't end with a win-win outcome. Either one party or both parties take some pain. This kind of self-sacrifice in relationships often leads to settling, a lot of resentment, and partners keeping score. You know, it's like, I did this for you last time, so you have to do this for me this time. I took most of the pain last time, so this time it's your turn to take most of the pain. This is not loving. Some people have the belief that compromising is the only way they can be loved or feel loved. So they take some pain by sacrificing a piece of themselves and settling, right? People believe that love is pain, and therefore compromising further solidifies this belief for them. But love is not pain. Love by nature can never be pain. Since emotions are operating on different frequencies, it is literally impossible for love and pain to exist at the same time. You cannot vibrate on the frequency of love and the frequency of pain at the same time. So contrary to popular belief, compromising is not being loving because it's almost always ends with some level of pain for one, if not both parties, or however many parties are involved. Furthermore, compromising dissociates us from our divinity, from our true selves, from the belief that we can be, do, and have anything we desire. By compromising, we're muting a part of ourselves. And if you are on the path of soul expansion, you see how this can be detrimental to your expansion, to your well-being, right? Like the late, great Eartha Kitt, who is my spirit animal, says in her documentary, compromise? What is compromise? Compromising for what? Compromising for what reason? A man comes into my life and I have to compromise? You must think about that one again. A man comes into my life and you have to compromise for what? For what? For what?
When you fall in love, what is there to compromise about? I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.
That was my poor reenactment of Eartha Kitt uncompromising. I love that woman. She is literally my spirit animal. She's just like, ugh, everything. But yes, when you fall in love, there's nothing to compromise for. There's absolutely nothing to compromise for, because when you compromise, you're compromising yourself. No matter what the compromise is, you're compromising yourself. The third component to a successful relationship is compatibility. People very much underestimate the importance of compatibility in relationships nowadays, and I think compromising is to blame for that. You see, when we compromise, we don't have to face the harsh reality that we are incompatible with our partners. Many people stay in incompatible relationships because of this fear. They're scared to face that. They're scared to change the course of their relationship. They're scared to change the roles in which they play in each other's lives, or they're scared to call it quits altogether if that's what's necessary. They're scared of ending up alone. But this can result in only one of three outcomes. One, you're gonna try to change yourself to fit who you believe your partner wants and needs and desires. Two, you're going to nag your partner and complain about your partner about how they're not fitting whom you want them to be. You're going to nag them into conforming to the person you want to be with, the person you want them to be. Or three, we're going to live a double life. We're going to hide who we are. We're going to live our desires and fulfill ourselves in secret. We'll live out our true desires in private. We're gonna hide who we really are from those we feel we're incompatible with. And this again also hinders the very expansion we are here to have. This is why compatibility is so vital to the success of a relationship. And it goes deeper than just not being able to decide where to go for dinner, okay? Incompatibility is this harmony on a soul level. When incompatibility exists in a relationship, both parties can feel unaccepted and unloved to who they truly are. Growth is gonna happen. It's inevitable. Change will come. It's unavoidable. Yes, sometimes you may be compatible with one partner or one level of your growth, and the next level you may be incompatible. However, when we commit to our soul expansion, we're able to see that facing incompatibility doesn't mean rejecting the other person for who they are and throwing them out of our lives and pointing fingers and shaming. No, rather, when you become aware of the incompatibility, you're able to accept that maybe a shift is what needs to occur in the roles you play in each other's lives. For example, a company may see that someone in a director role isn't quite good at directing people or managing staff. However, they're excellent at building customer relationships. The company isn't then, if they're conscious enough, isn't going to reject the person by firing them, but they're going to realize the incompatibility of the role and make the shift. Or partners in a relationship realizing that they're better off as greater friends than lovers. If you're both on this journey of soul expansion, you'll acknowledge that everyone needs their room to grow. And if you're able to be in a relationship where you can both allow each other to expand and still love and accept each other, then you are compatible. That is compatibility. But if you are in a relationship where you aren't able to grow and expand freely, then you're incompatible and you have to face that. Maybe you have expanded to the growth level that you are supposed to with this partner. And at that point, all you have to do is give gratitude, because every relationship is about soul expansion. And once the expansion is done, once your contract is up with this particular soul, it's your job to be grateful for it. You have to give gratitude for it. This is growth. This is expansion. Now, just because a relationship has ended, it doesn't mean it's a failure. If there's growth, if there's been expansion, then it is a successful relationship. You learn more through experiences. You learn more through change, through ups and downs. Relationships are about growth. So if you're someone on a spiritual journey or any kind of journey to self-awareness and expansion, allow your relationships to open you up. Let go of the notion that a relationship with one true love love or marriage is the end all be all of your life. And instead, shift your focus to how your relationships are helping you learn more about who you are and the divine power that you hold within you. Okay? All right, guys, so that's it for this video. My 3 keys to a successful relationship: self-love, no compromising, and seek compatibility. I hope you found this video helpful or at least a little bit enlightening, and you give it a thumbs up. And please share this with anyone who you think will resonate with this message. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos to keep you in high vibe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, because this year I am committed to making videos to inspire you to live fully and authentically in your full power and manifest the life of limitless abundance that you deserve. Thank you for sharing your energy with me in another video, and I'll see you in my next one. Cheers!